Hey everybody, Grest here. So today we have to have a talk about what I have in my hand right here. Let's get started. Alrighty folks, so what we have here is my AP5 MP5 clone manufactured by MKE over in Turkey and then imported by Century Arms. Now, I thought it was about due time that I did a little bit of a long-term review on this guy. I have quite a few rounds through it, somewhere between the 1,500 and 2,000 rounds. I mean, this guy goes to the range pretty much every time I go to the range, and it is the most requested firearm for folks to want to shoot when I take guests. So even my wife really enjoys shooting this thing. So anyways, real quick, just to show you, it is in fact clear and safe. No magazine inserted, no rounds in the chamber. As you see this guy right here, this is definitely not the way it comes from the factory in MKE. So a little bit of a background on MKE. They are licensed by HK to produce the MP5 and MP5K clones. It is done on HK machinery, to my understanding. Now, I have heard some complaints about some of the newer imported ones that there have been a little bit of quality control issues. I'm happy to say that this one here, which I've had for about 2 years, I do believe, as far as quality control issues, I mean, I have not noticed any sort of problem whatsoever. So we'll kind of start tip to butt here. So I do run one of my 2 rugged obsidian suppressors on here using a tri-lug adapter. And one of the beautiful things about the AP5 variant is that it does come with an integrated 3-lug adapter out here, and it also has a threaded barrel or muzzle with a cap. So if you have a threaded suppressor you would prefer to run, or some other type of quick detachment device, you can do so. So I'm happy to say that the factory 3-lug setup on this barrel has worked phenomenally. No complaints there. As far as the light setup, it's the Valhalla tactical light that I did a review on quite a while ago. So this guy has become home on this particular firearm because it's short, compact, and it has a versatile mounting setup. It has the ODA tail cap on here. Super cool light. Definitely go check them out. And then here you can see right away that we have not the original handguard. So this is the Midwest Industries MP5 handguard. It does have QD attachments on there as well. And then of course it does have the ability to use the factory sling attachment if you so choose. And kind of working my way back a little further, this top claw mount is the factory one that comes with the AP5. And I've beat it up pretty good. You can see it does have a lot of marks and stuff on there. This is a firearm, like I said before, that gets used a ton. It's not perfect, I would say, but I haven't had any issues with it holding zero. As far as the quality of it, I think at some point I would like to pick up maybe the Midwest Industries version top claw mount that they make for the MP5 variant of firearms. Up top here is the Optic. I've had the entire time. This is the Primary Arms Gen 2 1X Cyclops prism optic with the ACSS reticle. This is my favorite 1X optic, mainly due to the fact that these are very lightweight, compact. They have an adjustable focus on there, and because I have horrible astigmatism and this has an etched reticle that is illuminated, this works really well with my eyes. So I have a number of these on different firearms. No affiliation at all with Primary Arms, but they do make some tremendous bargains when it comes to optics. Kind of working my way back here, you can see the factory drum sight on here, and that works perfectly fine. Again, I use the Optic here the majority of the time, so that's not a big deal. And then kind of looking down, you're going to notice a couple things as well that are totally different. This here is actually the Magpul Grip assembly on here, as well as their safety selector. And this guy is super smooth, very tactile and audible as far as the safety selector itself. And it's got kind of a shorty one on that side and then a more extended one on the shooter's left hand side or left side of the firearm. And moving a little bit further back, you can see some more Magpul goodies. So I did a review on this a while back. This is the Magpul 2-position stock. This is a Form 1 to SBR, so I do have the ability to put a stock on here. I did originally have the Unity Tactical side folding stock, and I may switch back and forth between those or get another AP5 to throw it on. But this guy here is super slick. It's just a 2-position. It has a quick lever right here for extracting the stock. It has a QD attachment on both sides. It fits me perfect as far as the length of pull. The only thing that I would say that's a little bit of a detractor on this stock is that it's not quite as low profile when it's collapsed as I would like, but that's just due to the nature of the sliding mechanism, I do believe. They had to have so much material back here for that. So nice look at this thing. So here's my impressions on this. And again, kind of going back to the comparison that folks often do between an HK MP5, a true MP5, the civilian version being an SP5. I have shot those. They are definitely nicer and they are HK, okay? If you are a HK fanboy and you have to have that HK logo and branding and bragging rights and all that stuff, by all means, you know, I'm not going to fault anybody for doing that. They are absolutely great firearms, and of course this one here wouldn't exist had it not been for the HK version. So that's kind of my thoughts on that. However, if you want the MP5 but you don't necessarily want to spend the type of money that it costs for the SP5, not to mention the availability. So I was checking out Brownells the other day, and they happened to get an SP5 in stock, and it was sold within probably 20 minutes of being listed there. You know, and I thought about it, but it's like, you know, this checks all the boxes for me. You know, maybe at some point I will pick up an SP5 or an SP5K for my collection here, but until that point, this guy here, this thing rocks and rolls, and it is just a tremendous value if you want an MP5 and you want an MP5 that was produced on HK machinery and actually licensed by HK. So it's about as close as you can get to a factory HK MP5 or SP5 as far as I can tell.
Well, I didn't let him spin for very long.
So future plans on this thing, I'm not really sure. Probably the biggest thing that folks don't really like about the MP5 or most of your subguns is the trigger. And if I do just a quick ghosting of the trigger here, you can see, you know, it's a very spongy trigger, and then kind of it's not even crisp, it's just kind of a bleh, and then it lets go. And then if I reset it, I mean, the reset is really out there, and like I said, there's so much take up in this thing, and then there's not really a crisp break. It's just kind of a bleh. So maybe at some point I will swap out the trigger for something else. I'm not really sure though. If you guys have any suggestions on a trigger that you would consider putting in an MP5 or an MP5 clone. I know some of y'all out there have a lot of experience with the HK stuff. Me, I only own one legit HK firearm, and that's my HK45. Call me cheap, call me poor, whatever you want to call it. I just haven't spent a ton of money on the HK stuff just because they command a bit of a premium, and I found other stuff that it, works for what I'm after. Just thought I'd do a long-term review on this AP5 from Century Arms, manufactured by MKE in Turkey, that I got from Brownells about 2 years ago. Like I said, this thing has been absolutely awesome. Highly recommend it. If you have any experience on the MKE version of HK clones, definitely let me know. Any questions or comments about this guy, also let me know. This guy is going to be in my collection for a long time, especially since it's Form 1 to SBR. This thing has just been an absolute blast to own. Alright, so I appreciate everybody watching today's video on this Century Arms AP5 manufactured by MKE over in Turkey. If you're looking for something like this or other firearms accessories, definitely go check out my friends over at Brownells. Use code BOP10 to save 10% off your purchase of $150 or more. Any questions or comments about this guy right here, please put those down below. And as always, I appreciate everybody watching and subscribing, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Y'all take it easy. About that? Yeah, it's a little stiff.
Well, I didn't let him spin for very long.